Well, hello, everybody. We are
Hey,
super excited because we have an amazing guest, and she's going to talk about everything that you need to know about assisted living in San Diego. So, thank you so much, Julie, for joining us. We're super excited to have you. How's it going today?
oh, it's great. I have my little stage here. This is a fascinating subject, and it goes more into like the population and then what you do. It's very integrated. So, how would you like me to start? Tell them a little bit about myself or
So
introduce the subject?
let's first start to ask our audience to give us a thumbs up and subscribe even before we get started because we bring these amazing speakers and they are wealth of knowledge and they're professionals in their own field and they're bringing all this amazing knowledge to our audience. So we want to see them benefit the most. So subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. And of course, if you have any questions for Julie, you can go ahead and throw it out there. And if you're watching us on Facebook or if you're watching us on YouTube, we definitely want to hear from you and know everything that you want to know about this subject. So Julie, let's get started and tell us about yourself. How did you get started in this space and in this industry?
Very early, very early when I was 16. I won't go way back, but I do want to say that what we're talking about today is cutting edge stuff. So I started early in the process. As far as you want to know kind of what I've been doing maybe in the last 15 years, which is what I've been doing in senior living
Yeah,
very intensely.
yeah.
Okay, so I quickly in 2011 became an administrator for three small care homes that are assisted living homes that really only have six people, depending upon the residency. Okay, there are more than that population in assisted living, but it all applies. It's all the same thing. You're taking care of people's loved ones. It's very intensely satisfying, but you're in there 24/7 taking care of
Yeah,
people. So at
yeah.
any rate, from there I went on to work for a hospice company as a community liaison. I worked with not just older adults, but we think of people that are passing away or getting close to terminal illness, that they're in their 80s or above, but you can be working with someone with a cancer diagnosis earlier in their life. And families need a lot of help to understand care at that point. And I went around to small care homes, like I managed the 6 beds.
Mm.
I met people all over San Diego. For your market and what you do, I have seen homes everywhere, San Diego County. So I have a good idea of this whole holistic thing we're going to
Industry.
talk about. And so
Yeah.
then from after going to hospice, I went and worked for the state of California as what they
Oh,
call a licensing program analyst. And I was a team of analysts that would regulate and inspect assisted living facilities of any size. So we would go into the 6 beds, we would go into 200s, but it was assisted living, which means you're living in a congregate area, not your
mhm.
home. You're with other people, and you need care, personal care,
Yeah.
which are activities of daily living, which we could get into later. But basically, you need help with your mobility, you need medication management. It is non-medical, though. Assisted living is non-medical. So, anyways, we go into these homes that are now giving care to people and making sure that the care is at the highest level, that the environments are safe,
Mhm.
and sorry, you probably heard my dog. Any rate, so I did that for a couple of years. So I know the inside and out of a lot of facilities, every size, and it's been fascinating to see the other side. So then I started my business in July, and having a great time meeting a lot of people in San Diego. Most of my business right now is word of mouth,
Yeah.
and just because I know a lot of people, and I got to know Roxanne in Santiago, and here I am. So that's a little bit about me. Previous, I just love people. I worked as a photographer doing corporate photography for 20 years, and in that time period, photographed active seniors. So
That's awesome.
90-year-old hurdlers, 90-year-old windsurfers, and it was really fun. So I've had a good time working with people that are older than me.
So this is, I think this is a fascinating subject, and it's also a space that is there's a lot of need. We have a lot of seniors. We have a lot of older adults that are going to be seniors within the next 10 years or so. So it's definitely a field that requires a lot of attention and a lot of service that's being provided. And the way that your business is complementary with our business, which is really, really interesting, is, we get to work with a lot of seniors who are thinking of moving because their current house is no longer serving them,
Right.
and they're not sure where to go next. And there's also a lot of resistance to senior living with a lot of seniors. There's a lot of stigma, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of concern, and also finances are an issue. So I thought that it was really, really interesting with what you were doing, because I know of the bigger facilities that provide care, but your niche is these smaller senior living homes. Can you explain more about them and how they come into the picture?
Okay, so tell me if I get off track. But from the state of California, the large assisted livings and the small 6 beds, what I'll call, are they're the same. They are actually technically called residential care for the elderly facilities, and they have the same regulations. They're non-medical. They are normally staffed by ideally seasoned, experienced caregivers. They do not have to be medically oriented. They do not have to be what we call a CNA, which is certified nursing assistant. Caregivers are either come in with some background, or they're trained by caregivers, and then there's education that is required by the state of California for every caregiver to have.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how those all relate.
Mm-hmm.
But the 6 beds are interesting in that they're in every neighborhood. So, for example, all the neighborhoods that you go and market to people and show them homes normally would have at least 2 in that area. So, for example, say take Vista. I don't know if you go to Vista, but Vista, there's more than 35 care homes in that neighborhood. And in La Jolla, I counted last night, there are about, 8 to 15. Claremont, there's 35.
Wow.
Escondido is like plus 40. Poway is 25. It's fascinating. So, at any rate, there's only one in Rancho Santa Fe, one right outside Rancho Santa Fe, one I just put a client in Santa Luz, and then one 6-bed that's going to be in the heart of Rancho Santa Fe. And it's really exciting, these 6 beds. So, at any rate, as far as what I could tell you about those is they are meant mainly for a specific type of person, which is someone that wants a little more of a private life. They don't need a lot of activity and all the amenities that a larger assisted living home could have, based on your abilities to take advantage of that. So what you do is you go in, you meet a wonderful administrator, you see if the care matches up with the facility, if you got a private room, shared room. The average rate right now is $6,500 per month, going up to any individual care home, $12,000, you can see, with a little higher level of care. And then it also is going for memory care, can go up to $20,000 a month.
So the 6 beds even provide memory care?
Yeah, they are. You can be licensed to have people that have dementia. So basically, the general population of 65 plus, they usually are showing some cognitive deficit by 80. And so the average age is 83 for people going into assisted living. And when they're in that higher bracket of care needs, they may I shouldn't say last, they will be in assisted living for 1 to 2 years before they pass. So, but it's with that older age bracket. It's not with the ones that are more active. We can get into that more later. So what you have at an assisted living with a 6-bed is people that have a need, and this all applies to larger assisted living, but they have a need for medication management. That's key. They haven't been able to do it. Caregivers, helping, but it's just not working. They also usually have some mobility needs. They're going into a walker, four-wheel or not. They're maybe going into a wheelchair, and they need more constant help. They also may need help with bathing, dressing, toileting. Those are a wide spectrum, but they're also getting in their rent money, meals, snacks, laundry, maintenance of their room, the house, the yard. So it's all encompassing living, whether it's a 6-bed or a larger facility. But in a 6-bed, you're in a residential care home that's been converted usually for 6 private rooms.
Yeah.
And some of them will have baths attached. And so it's usually a lovely environment. It can range in style. So you can get the real comfy home where even the administrator or licensee may be living in that home or next door. And the caregivers are there maybe 8 hours each or 12-hour shifts. And it's now it's developed into around the clock care, usually 2 caregivers in the daytime and one either there on call or awake at night. That's for a 6-bed. There's different rules for a larger size community. So the ratio is 6 residents in a care home to 1 to 2, well, I'd say 2 caregivers during the day and then 1 at night. But if you go into a larger assisted living, that's great. It depends on your needs. But that is normally, I will say, sometimes I've heard of one that is 1 to 5 in the memory care. But what I saw a lot in licensing was more like a 1 to 12. So someone that's going into assisted living when they're at that point where they need some personal care, supervision, all the things I talked about, they have to make sure they fit in that ratio. Because what happens is, and it's fine, someone that's in a larger facility may actually end up going to a 6-bed because they can handle the cognitive issues unless they're like major wanderers. There's a lot of security rules. And so a larger assisted living may have what they call a memory care. And it's complicated, but they're supposedly said locked so someone can't get out and wander. In a small home, it's the same thing, but they have different definitions of, they don't say locked. So basically, it's always a personal right for anyone in assisted living to be able to leave that facility at any time. So there are things that are set up to keep them safe, according to regulations, about exiting. But you need to go and talk to the assisted living about what your parents' need is or your spouse and understand the safety of a home and see if it fits. And and the person may change. They may come in with some memory issues of just memory, and then they start getting confused and they might start to wander around the home or the assisted living. And then the next thing you know is they might be what we call exit seeking and looking for a way to just either explore or go home. They love where they came from. And so I don't know if I explained that enough, but basically someone buys a home, say something like you would sell, 3, 4, 5 beds and bedrooms, or convert them, and then get a license, get the caregiving staff, the liability insurance, and then they can put out marketing for assisted living and keep with the regulations, education requirements, regular business. Because you're taking care of people, you have to have rules.
So question for you about couples. I'm thinking I've come across couples that, are in that stage where they need help or they need to, consider independent living, not necessarily assisted living. Are there any options for couples with,
Yeah, there are. Independent living, which means you are downsized out of your big home, sold it with Pemberley Realty, and you have gotten a good price, lots of money, and you're ready for assisted living because it's expensive. But at any rate, couples go to assisted living, couples go to independent living. what some communities are beautiful, and there's particular requirements, but you can go to a community, they're called, I always get the name mixed up, but it's like continuing care communities, something like that. And you can buy in and you can have a home, you only pay rent, you know, excuse me if I'm totally wrong, but you pay rent and you either buy a house or buy into a home. They have assisted living on site if you end up needing more personal care. And then you can go to skilled nursing, which I can explain a little bit. It's with medical care,
Mhm.
and it's all on the same campus. And if
Mhm.
you need memory care, that's within this assisted living
Space,
but space.
facility,
So you
facility.
can be
Yes.
single too.
Yeah.
And they have a variety of options. You don't have to go into a home. You can go into an apartment. You can go into a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom for a
Mhm.
couple. And then in the smaller homes, you might get lucky and find a large private room, and the couple can be there and they can socialize and have fun on their own at the small care home. The small care homes do tend to be more privately oriented. There's not a lot of activities. However, it's really um, motivated, or what state tries to motivate for activities. And you
Mhm.
have to weigh what someone will do. You can have a large community like 200 people and only 10 people will show up for an activity. So
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
that activity is its own little realm of how to keep people stimulated socially and mentally. So anyways, if you're a couple, that's where you can go. You can start an independent. One of you can move an assisted living, either a regular place that has all those. It's not a continuing care community. You can have independent. Say 1 year the spouse has a fall, they can go to the assisted living facility. You can
Mhm.
stay in the independent living, visit, outings, whatever. And then if they have a fall, they can go to the skilled nursing for rehab, where
Right.
there's medical, nurses, PT, OT, and then
Yeah.
they can come back to assisted living. So it's kind of nice if
It's
you
kind of nice. You can be fluid
yeah,
and
a-
change around depending on what your need is.
yeah. And if
I
you're in a small
actually went
care,
into
go
one that was really fun. They had a watermelon contest as
ahead.
one of their activities, and it was super fun. It was the residents against the staff, and the activity was who can eat more watermelons.
Oh God, that's a jumping hazard.
And one of the residents actually won, and that was super fun because it was a beautiful courtyard, and they were all sitting and cheering for the ones that were competing, and one of the residents won the contest, and
Oh,
it was a blast
a larger
to watch.
community over 6 beds have to have an activity. Well, at a certain level, you have to have a bona fide activity director. I will tell you that at 6 beds, there is a need, and the administrators want activities, and
Yeah,
it's a real need. So I actually have fun because on my time that I can allot, I go into right now. I have 3 homes that I go into and do activities. So we
that's
do
awesome.
anything
What do
from
you do with them?
biography boards to golfing. I got a little thing to bingo. They love. You can see their
Of course.
cognition changes. It's
Mhm.
amazing. You get the blotters. It's more fun than the little chips, and then you do parties, and it just they a memory will stay with an older adult in a say a 6 bed or even a large facility for 24 or more hours. If you have a
Yeah.
bad experience, it can hold someone back for about 24 hours. So it's really important to keep a stimulation
Go.
going. I
Yeah.
will say that the number one activity in a small care home is the caregivers, because that's who they're dealing with all the time.
All the
It's
time.
similar in a large facility. They may have
Yeah.
more of a variety of people, but in the care home and in a assisted living, when someone's coming in and doing intimate care for you,
Yeah.
they're going to be nice. They're going to be fun. They create a nice environment while they're doing that activity.
I
So
actually had one of my clients was in a smaller 6 bed community, and one time when I went to visit, they had a magic show, and
mhm.
that was super fun. Because it was interactive with the residents, and the magician was, he knew what he was doing. So that was fun and very stimulating, fun. I stayed for the whole entire thing. It was about an hour, and it was super fun. And
Okay. So this
participated.
is where we're going now. Okay, so I did get I did have an education, and so I went to Stanford University, had this amazing human biology, public policy, health policy major, and it had a concentration of community care for the elderly. Imagine that. I'm ended up in community care for the elderly years later. Any rate, you need to understand the industry, okay?
Yeah.
And I got to give you some statistics because I'm a health policy person. Okay, so I'm going to make a quick rundown. There's 340 plus million people in the United States. There are 40 million in California. In San Diego County, there are over 3 million people. Over 65 of that population, 3 million, 20% will be part of the San Diego County population by 2030. That's only 4 years away-ish.
Yeah.
And then at that over 65 by 2050 will be in the range of 20 to 25%. And this is affecting people particularly that are 43, 63, and 83. 83 being the person that may really need assisted living by then. Of course, you can need it earlier. So those are some numbers. But when you look at facilities, I don't know if I mentioned it. Tell me if I'm repeating myself. There are 7,000 large or small facilities for assisted living in California. In San Diego County, we have 600 plus of both. 100, last countish, was 100 of the larger assisted living. So these little 6 beds that we're talking about, they're everywhere. And they serve a really important need. And for marketing purposes, there's a ways to go for people to understand, erase some stigma and misconceptions. And then there's reasons and ways that the assisted living of a 6-bed can raise their quality of services.
Yeah.
And it's happening more. It just depends. If it's an older facility, they need to update. If it's one that's just starting, they can usually have really good handicapped and access within the community home, either built in or it's a more modern home. So that's the nitty gritty of people and the industry as far as what's there. So I just wanted to throw that in. We can keep talking about whatever else.
This is amazing. So I'm going to actually go ahead and put your contact information out there for our audience, so that everybody knows how to connect with you if they want to learn more about your services and also ask you more further questions. So everybody, there is Julie's number if you want to contact her. And also you can reach out to Julie via her email address. There's her email address. You can also reach out to her via email. And Julie also has a website. You can reach out to her on her website, and you can learn more about the services that she provides and contact her that way. And of course, like we talked about, our businesses are complementary. You may need to come to us first and discuss a sale with us first before you reach out to Julie. So if that is what needs to happen, then you can reach out to me. There's my phone number, or you can reach out to my partner Santi. There's his phone number.
There you go.
Very, very important, both of you. In this.
Yep.
We also love to hang out on Instagram. So if you are on Instagram, we would love it if you give us a follow. Or if you are on Facebook, please reach out to us and follow us there as well. And of course, you can also reach us on our website, pemberleyrealty.com. So thank you so much for joining us today. And Julie, thank you so much for being here and for your amazing information and education that you are giving us. And also thank you for your service. What you are doing is instrumental in the health of our community and the health of our seniors. So we thank you for your service. And audience, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and click on that subscribe button so that next time that we're bringing these important videos, you are notified of our videos. And thank you so much, everybody. And Julie, thank you so much for joining us.
There's so much more pre-planned. Call Roxanne and make it happen so that you live a great life, and so do your loved ones at the end of, when we're older.
There you go.
Better.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.